Hi everyone, glad to see you again. Today I have something informative lined up for you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe online, cyber network disclaimer. This is purely educational. Alright, gather round my digital explorers. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of how some folks with mischievous intentions try to throw a wrench in the internet's gears, we need a big, flashing neon sign disclaimer. What we're about to discuss today is strictly for educational purposes. Think of it like learning how a magician pulls off an illusion. It's fascinating to understand the mechanics, the clever thinking, the behind-the-scenes action. But that doesn't mean you should go out and try to saw your neighbor in half, right? Same principle applies here, my friends. We're dissecting concepts, not handing out blueprints for trouble. The digital world is a wild and wonderful place, but it also has rules, and some pretty serious ones at that. Attempting to crash a website, disrupt services, or cause any kind of unauthorized digital mayhem is not just frowned upon, it's illegal. So absorb the information, let your curiosity be piqued, understand the vulnerabilities, but please, for the love of all that is pixelated, do not attempt to replicate any disruptive activities. This is about knowledge, not about causing chaos. Agreed? Excellent. So, what is this Termux thing we keep mentioning? Imagine having a powerful Linux terminal environment right in your pocket, running on your Android device. That's Termux in a nutshell. It's not some shadowy underground tool built exclusively for hackers, not at all. In fact, its primary purposes are incredibly legitimate and super useful for a whole bunch of cool stuff. Think of it as a Swiss Army knife for developers, sysadmins, and curious tech enthusiasts who want to explore the world of command-line interfaces on the go. It's a fantastic way to learn programming languages like Python or Ruby, or even compile code. One of the most common and totally above-board uses for Termux is as an SSH client. This means you can securely connect to remote servers from your phone or tablet. Imagine you're a system administrator and you get an urgent alert about a server issue while you're out grabbing a coffee. With Termux, you could potentially log in, diagnose the problem, and maybe even fix it, all without needing to rush back to a desktop computer. Now, let's put on our hypothetical black hats for a moment, purely for academic understanding, of course. If someone were inclined to use Termux for less than honorable purposes, like attempting to disrupt a website, they wouldn't just open the app and magically have that power. There's a setup process involved, a sort of digital preparation. This usually starts with updating the built-in package lists to make sure everything is current. Think of it as sharpening your tools before you start a woodworking project. You want the latest and most effective versions of whatever you're working with. This is done with simple commands like and. Next, this hypothetical individual might look for specific types of tools. The Termux ecosystem, being a Linux environment, can access or compile a wide range of software. That idea of a hacker typing one single devastating command into Termux and watching a website crumble is mostly the stuff of Hollywood movies, my friends. It sounds cool, it sounds dramatic, but the reality is a bit more nuanced. While the final action might be triggered by executing a single command, that command is usually the endpoint of a whole lot of prior setup, scripting, or the use of a sophisticated tool that itself required installation and configuration. It's like saying a general wins a battle with one command to charge. True, but it ignores all the strategy, troop movement, and preparation that came before. What that one command typically does is launch a program or a script. This script could be something custom written by the attacker, or it could be a publicly available tool designed for stress testing, a term often used as a euphemism for denial-of-service attack tools. These tools are designed to send a massive flood of traffic or requests to a target server. The goal is to overwhelm the server's resources, its bandwidth, its processing power, its memory, to the point where it can no longer respond to legitimate users. Anatomy of a crash: how websites theoretically stumble. Let's get a bit more specific, theoretically speaking, about how a website might actually crash or become unavailable due to such an attack. The most common method we're alluding to is a distributed denial of service, or DDoS, or a simpler denial of service DOS attack. In a DOS attack, the attacker uses a single source, like their Termux setup, to flood the target. In a DDoS, they often use a network of compromised computers called a botnet to amplify the attack, making it much harder to stop. For our Termux example, A lone wolf might be attempting a smaller scale DOS. Imagine a popular restaurant. It has a certain number of tables, a certain number of waiters, and a kitchen that can prepare a certain amount of food per hour. This is its capacity. Now imagine someone or a group of people decides to disrupt this restaurant. They could do this by having hundreds of people call to make fake reservations, tying up the phone lines. Or they could send hundreds of people to just stand inside, taking up all the space, so real customers can't get in. Warning: digital handcuffs, the real-world cost of online mayhem. Now, let's pump the brakes hard and talk about something incredibly important: the legal and ethical ramifications. Crashing websites, launching DOS or DDoS attacks, or engaging in any unauthorized disruption of online services isn't just a bit of harmless fun or a clever prank. It's a serious crime in virtually every country around the world. We're talking about laws like the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, or CFAA in the United States, or similar cybercrime legislation elsewhere. These laws come with hefty penalties, including massive fines and significant prison time. This is not a game, folks. Think about the impact. A website that's forced offline can mean huge financial losses for a business. E-commerce sites can't make sales, service providers can't deliver to their customers, and information portals can't reach their audience. Beyond the financial, there's reputational damage. If a website is constantly down or unreliable, users will lose trust and go elsewhere. Echoes in the system real-life tales of websites under siege. These kinds of attacks aren't just theoretical. They happen all the time, and sometimes on a massive scale, causing widespread disruption. You might remember hearing about the DDoS attack back in 2016. DIN was a major DNS provider, kind of like the internet's phone book. Attackers used a botnet of compromised Internet of Things devices, everyday gadgets like cameras and DVRs, to flood DIN's servers with traffic. The result? Huge swathes of the internet became inaccessible for hours, affecting major sites like Twitter, Netflix, Spotify, and PayPal. It was a stark reminder of how interconnected and vulnerable our digital infrastructure can be. Another common target for these attacks is the gaming industry. Online games and their servers are frequently hit by DDoS attacks, often launched by disgruntled players, rivals, or extortionists. When a game server goes down, thousands, sometimes millions of players are kicked offline, leading to frustration and lost revenue for the game companies. The white hat twists Termux as a force for good. Okay, we've peered into the shadowy corners, but now let's shine a bright light on how Termux can be, and often is, a powerful tool for the good guys, the ethical hackers and cybersecurity professionals. Remember all those networking tools and the Linux environment we talked about? In the right hands, these become instruments for defense, not destruction. Ethical hackers, also known as white hat hackers, use their skills to find vulnerabilities in systems the bad guys, or black hat hackers, can exploit them. And Termux can be a handy part of their toolkit for this noble cause. Imagine you're a security consultant, and you need to test a client's network or web application for weaknesses. With Termux on your Android device, you can perform reconnaissance, scan for open ports, analyze network traffic, and even attempt controlled penetration tests, all with the client's explicit permission, of course. This is crucial. Ethical hacking is always done with consent. You can use tools within Termux to check for common vulnerabilities, test server configurations, and ensure that security patches are up to date. It's like being a digital doctor, giving a system a thorough checkup to find any potential health issues. Termux is also fantastic for learning and education in cybersecurity. Students and aspiring security professionals can use it to practice their skills in a safe and controlled environment. The final bite: wield your knowledge wisely, young Padawan. So there you have it, my curious compadres. We've taken a whirlwind tour through the world of Termux, exploring its legitimate powers and, with all our disclaimers firmly in place, how it theoretically be twisted for nefarious deeds like trying to knock websites offline. The key takeaway, the big lesson I hope you're all walking away with, is that tools themselves are neutral. A hammer can build a house, or it can break a window. The intent and the actions of the user are what truly matter. Termux is a powerful, versatile environment with incredible potential for learning, development, and yes, even ethical security work. The allure of hacking can seem exciting, especially when portrayed in movies and media. But the reality of black hat activities, crashing websites, stealing data, causing disruption, is far from glamorous. It's illegal, it's harmful, and it carries severe consequences that can derail your life. The real power, the real cleverness, lies in understanding these systems to protect them, to build them stronger, and to innovate. Using your knowledge to contribute positively is infinitely more rewarding and sustainable than using it to tear things down. Thanks for watching and learning with me. Drop a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos. I value your feedback. Cyber Network.